once again to I Put My Foot in It. You are tuned into the Thanksgiving series. This is very exciting. This particular recipe, my colleague Christina Benfield asked me to make for her, and it is a green bean casserole. Now, most of the time when people do green bean casseroles, they will get frozen green beans, and there's nothing wrong with that. They'll get the canned cream mushroom soup and the French onions the French fried onions that are in the can that you just shake over the top. Well, folks, I just have a different philosophy on things. That's fine for, normal cooking throughout the year, but this is Thanksgiving. So you want to make things a little bit more special. So we're going to use real green beans, real mushroom soup that we're going to make ourselves, and then we're going to French fry our own onions. Okay, so we're going to start off with the mushroom soup. Into the electric skillet, I've already melted, I'm trying to step over my cat because she stays in the kitchen with me when I'm cooking. She just loves to see what's going to drop on her head. Into the electric skillet, what I have already put is 6 tablespoons of butter. And with that, I have diced about 2 ribs of celery and an entire white onion. So I'm just going to throw this in. And this is the start of our mushroom soup. This is Thanksgiving. You can do things a little bit more homemade and a little bit more special. I understand not doing this, during the rest of the year when you're busy with work and everything. But on these special holidays when we're making a green bean casserole, let's just go ahead and go all out. Seasonings into the soup. We're putting a whole tablespoon of dried thyme. Now, if you are using fresh thyme, you can do a little bit less, but we're going to put, I didn't have any fresh today, unfortunately, but it's Thanksgiving, so I do believe in definitely using fresh herbs for Thanksgiving. I just didn't have any in my cabinets today, so I'll give you the measurements for when you use fresh, or actually when you use fresh, you want to use a little bit more. I misspoke, because it's not as concentrated and pungent. So that's 1 tablespoon of thyme. And if it was fresh thyme, you might want to put 2 tablespoons. Thyme comes in leaves. So you want to do a few sprigs of those. Then here in this, I just have salt, pepper, and cayenne. And I just have a teaspoon of each of those. And I'm just going to bring those in here and just sprinkle those around. And you guys know I do not measure when I cook, so it was hard for me to work out all these measurements for you today, but I did it because I want people to be able to reproduce it. Mushrooms that we're going to use. We're going to use 3 different mushrooms. We're going to use the typical white mushrooms that we've just sliced. And we're using about 6 ounces of each of these mushrooms. So it's typical white mushrooms here. And then we have a baby bella. Baby bella is just the portobello mushroom before it gets big. So that's going to give us a meatier flavor. So we're just going to slice that up as well. So we have about 6. We're using all different types of mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, this might not be the dish for you. I happen to love mushrooms. Then we're going to use oyster mushrooms. It's a funny looking mushroom. And its gills are kind of here. It kind of looks like a flower. And then we're just going to rough chop that up as well for the soup. Alright, mushroom soup. And what always happens when you put mushrooms into a dish, that whatever fat you use, oil or whatever, it just soaks up all of that. They're like a little sponge. So we're just going to go ahead and add our mushrooms and let them take in all of these seasonings. And you're going to see all of that butter just like soak into it, because it's going to soak into that like a sponge. So that's all of our mushrooms chopped up for this mushroom soup. When I tell you with the baguette toasted or sourdough toasted or just a nice crust of bread and this mushroom soup on a cold day, yeah, this is very comforting all by itself. I know I have a few guys going overboard, but that's just all a part of cooking. Alright, those mushrooms are getting all flavorful inside of all that butter and all of that seasoning. seasoning that we have in there with our onions and our celery. Isn't that gorgeous? Add in a little garlic. This is probably about 3 cloves of garlic minced that I minced up. And we add our garlic in at this point because we don't really want our garlic to burn or brown. We just want it to kind of impart its flavor. Down the line, we're going to add flour. Flour is what's going to thicken our mushroom soup. I don't know how much this is. I'll figure out the dimensions for you. I think this little cup is, I would say this is a 1/4 cup, but I'm not going to put it all in here. So you're like, okay, that's looking weird. Why in the world are we doing that? We're just going to add this flour in. Maybe I will put it all in here. I'm looking at what I'm looking for, just to help you out, is how much flour the butter can take. And that really is something that you have to have an eye for and that you will learn as you cook. So we're going to put a little bit more of that. And anytime you add flour to a dish like this with fat, and it's kind of making a roux or a gravy of sorts, you want to let it cook for just a few moments to let the flour taste cook out. Because what the flour will act as is a thickening agent. So right now it's like, oh, everything is clumping together. It's so weird. Alright. And you'll notice as you cook, the flour will take on sort of a blonde color. That's right where you want it. Cups of chicken stock. So I have 2 cups here, and I'm just going to add this. And you're going to hear it sizzle. And then watch what it does as I add that 2 cups. And then I'll come back and I'll add the other 4 cups. But you'll notice already that's turning into a thickening type of gravy. You see that? You know you can make your own cream of mushroom soup, did you? You thought you had to buy it out of the can. This tastes miles better. Miles better. So you see how that's thickening up? I'm just using it. Normally I have my wooden spoon out at this point, but I'm just using a regular metal spoon here. You can use vegetable broth for this too. I just like the taste of chicken stock. Okay, of course I broke the tab on the as I'm filming. See, real cooking. This is real cooking. So this whole thing is about 4 cups. So we'll just put this whole thing in there. And this soup will continue to make. So we'll do that. We'll let this soup continue to make. And that's just the mushroom part. It doesn't look very thick, but as we let it cook, it's going to get even more thick. To that, I'm going to add 1 1/2 cups of heavy cream. And that's really what's going to make the cream part of the cream of mushroom soup. Now you say that's crazy right there. She just made cream of mushroom soup from scratch.